Welcome to another insightful episode of Lady Lane. I'm Michelle, your menopause doula. I am here to guide you over the menopausing bridge instead of jumping.
I'm Stacy, your personal development coach, helping people find mental clarity, overcome the self-limiting beliefs, and creating lasting transformations during challenging times.
Today, we're going to discuss the female hormone highway, which I know at times it seems like it's been designed by a crazy carnival clown that lives under your bed, waiting for the lights to go off.
Yeah. Or it's like a lifelong road trip without a map, and all the street signs are in a different language. In our journey through life, we often encounter these unexpected challenges that test our patience and resilience. These challenges can be seen as opportunities for growth and transformation. And it's in these moments that we learn to navigate the ups and downs of life, ultimately becoming wiser and more self-aware.
It's amazing how our two specialties really do complement each other. It's like cookies and, well, everything. What doesn't go with cookies?
Michelle. When you embrace a holistic approach to personal growth, it involves not only understanding our physical bodies, but also nurturing our emotional and spiritual well being. And it's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all the aspects of our lives and finding harmony within ourselves. This is important to keep in mind when we're talking about the phases of menopausing. So, Michelle, why don't you take the wheel on this and explain the concept of the hormone highway?
Okay. Well, it starts at birth. That's where it all begins. We are born with our roadmap or our blueprint already determined. We are born with a finite number of eggs, and with the exception of pregnancy or a medical complication, there will be a start and an end to the reproductive years. Between 8 and 11, the ovaries wake up and we start to develop our secondary sex characteristics. Then around age 11 or 12, we begin our monthly cycles. It may take a few months or years to regulate, but once it does, we can expect to have about 450 cycles in our lifetime. Yeah. If you want to think of it as a mountain, from the ground up, it's birth to about age 37. And then once we reach the peak, then we start the decline, and that's perimenopause. As erratic as a 12-year-old is going up the mountain, we are that erratic coming down the mountain, except our bodies are literally on fire. So basically, perimenopause is the reverse or the opposite of puberty.
Okay, so if menopausing is puberty basically in reverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about if you go through, I guess, like a refresher of what that's all about? Because honestly, we need to know what's going on in our bodies. And the more that we can remember or, learn about our cycles, the better we're going to be to handle the experience and the symptoms and have a better understanding of going into the menopause cycle of things. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I would have liked to know that the burning fire across my chest was a hot flash and not a massive heart attack, which I told the doctor I was having. I was just having a hot flash. So there are 4 phases to the menstrual cycle: menstruation, the follicular phase. Oh, I said it right. Ovulation, and the luteal phase. So menstruation is the first of the phases, and it typically lasts about 3 to 7 days. This is when the egg doesn't get fertilized. So now estrogen is at its lowest, progesterone has plummeted, which is what results in the bleed. Then this is when we feel tired, moody, when everyone around you is acting like a jackass, and on top of it, you're bleeding to death. So that's menstruation. That's the first phase, 3 to 7 days.
Okay. So from the self-care perspective, during this first week of this cycle, this would be the good time to do some like grounding work and taking a moment to really kind of catch your breath, because these are like it's a change, right? You're
Yeah.
experiencing this change. Okay.
Mhm.
So during this time, this phase, self-compassion and recognizing that your body needs rest and relaxation, would be, good examples of how you could have that self-care. This is the time usually when I am extra kind to myself, and I guess I could say I overindulge in my favorite munchies and movies. So
Yeah, I like cookies. But during this phase, we really should try to maintain a balanced diet. Keep
Mhm.
in mind, the better we take care of ourselves starting now, the easier the aging process is going to be. Eating, sleeping, moving with intention is very important.
Mhm.
It's not easy, but it's very important. Protein, vegetables, fruit, whole grains, a balanced diet. That can help stabilize our energy levels, our mood. You know, the days of salt and vinegar chips, M&Ms, and soda on day one are long gone.
Oh
I
no.
know. I know. And you can try yoga, walking, something like low impact. You
Mm.
want to keep your cortisol down, which is the stress hormone. So any kind of heavy exercise can raise your cortisol. This may help relieve tension and fatigue, although that's kind of like an oxymoron, don't you think? Exerting energy to combat fatigue. Like,
Yeah,
how does that work?
totally. But it is it's totally true that the more that you get out there and do things for yourself, um, you feel better about it. So definitely you do get that energy pickup. What is it that now that I think about it, the endorphins, right? Isn't it the
Mm,
endorphins that kick in when you're doing those exercises and that kind of gives you that like
yeah.
high to feel good about everything? But
Yep.
like you said, what we feed our bodies does affect our overall well-being, and it certainly affects our inner peace and emotional stability. So choosing all of those healthy foods, like you mentioned, is essential. And also, like you mentioned, yoga and walking not only give you that physical tension, like the release of that tension, but it also gives you an opportunity to really kind of turn inward, be quiet, find the calmness or stillness, and tune out the noise of the outside world and connect with that inner self of yours. I mean, which is so important.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. All right. Well, moving on to the follicular. See, follicular phase. Follicular phase. This
You
phase
got it.
starts. I got it.
Mhm.
This phase starts after menstruation and is the time that the follicles mature and an egg is released from the ovary. This phase ends at ovulation. This
Yeah.
phase varies from person to person and from ovary to ovary. They both have different patterns. And this is when we feel more energetic and optimistic. People aren't as stupid, and you may find that your partner isn't as annoying as he usually is. So,
This is a new source of energy because you're in a different phase. And
mhm.
so, yeah, you're going to have those feelings of feeling a little bit more confident, powerful. You're going to be wanting to take more risks because you're just in that different state of mind. So, yeah, this might be I guess if you're connected to your body and can tune into all of this stuff, which I guess we're going to talk about ways of how to do that
Yeah.
um, later on, you will be able to know what to do in these different phases and stages, right? For
Oh, absolutely. I was definitely in the follicular stage when I decided to go back to school and start a whole new career and then throw in a weekly podcast on top of it. Although this is turning out to be the most fun.
well, Shaw.
Well, y'all.
Okay. Let's get back to it. So, okay, during this follicular stage, what
Yeah.
should we all be eating and how should we be moving to optimize our moods? And
Uh, well, let's see. As this hot flash kills me. Oh, child. All right. Well, I see me. I turn like bright red. Look
I
at this.
can't believe it. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. I mean,
And
let's sidebar tangent here for a second, but it truly is amazing that you have this cycle that every female who's born goes through this, right? But how radically different these same symptoms affect women. Like when I have
Mhm.
hot flashes, I feel like I'm having a panic attack, but they don't happen very often. And yours are super
Right.
intense. So,
Yeah. I do
um,
feel like I am having a panic attack too. Right before they happen, I feel like this fight or flight. And
mm,
then I know I have about 5 or 10 seconds before I get this incredible heat that comes from, I guess, like, I don't know, it feels like it's coming from my heart and it kind of just rises up. And then it turns, everything turns bright red. So there's no like real hiding from it either.
right.
You just kind of have to get through it. And it only lasts for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, but they come like every 15, 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
very
how, I mean,
disturbing.
I would think that I don't have symptoms like that. But if I did, that would be, I think, debilitating, and I'm sure that some of these symptoms are debilitating for women,
So that's why we're here.
right? Totally.
The way you can help yourself is to really journal,
Hmm.
make sure that you're eating and sleeping, moving, whole foods that have one ingredient with, what they are: apples, broccoli, chicken,
Right.
fish, tofu. Like one ingredient foods are the best. They're the whole foods. We've all been to Weight Watchers. We know what to eat and how to eat properly.
Hmm.
Food is so yummy. I know. But better food choices will help support your overall well being.
Hmm.
Not to say that an Oreo wouldn't do the same in the moment, but an Oreo has no long term effects, benefits. You want to eat with intent, and your
Mm.
intent is to stay alive for as long as possible. So eat well, do your cardio, strength training,
Mm.
and you'll get a big energy boost towards the end of this phase.
Yeah. Okay. So we've reached the end of your hot flash and this phase.
Ooh.
And this was the follicular stage, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then now
Yeah.
we're at the peak of the cycle. And this is like when we were talking offline, we were talking about kind of like this roller coaster mountain analogy where it's going up, 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 and you get to the crest. And then this is the part where the descent begins, right?
Yeah. Now we're at the peak. Ovulation. So ovulation occurs when there's a surge in the luteinizing hormone and the ovary releases the egg. If the egg gets fertilized, it'll move on down to the fallopian tubes. And if it doesn't, the uterus will shed its lining, and that's when you have a bleed or a period.
Mm.
So ovulation is the only time in the cycle where the egg can actually be fertilized, and it only lasts for about 24 hours. It's the shortest phase of the cycle.
Okay. So this is where you're going to feel increased energy and a heightened libido and honestly a sense of empowerment. I mean, and I guess physically you're going through the cycle, but then you have your own emotional cycle happening as well. So your confidence is going through around these phases. And so now you're in the sense of empowerment.
Mhm.
What is the concepts of eating and moving during this particular time?
So keep focusing on whole foods. I know you want me to say that you can eat all the cookies you want during this phase, but believe me, no one wants no one wants to hear me say that more than me. But it's never cookies, ever. It's never cookies.
Mhm.
Continue with the vigorous activities or any kind of physical activity you enjoy. I like to long distance walk. My husband and I actually just and my girlfriend, we just did the Disney Princess Challenge in
That's so
Disney World
cool.
in February.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did 3 races in 3 days: 5K, 10K, half marathon.
Oh my God.
It was a lot of fun, all at 5 o'clock in the morning. Beat my time for the half marathon by 15 minutes. So now I've completed 2 half marathons.
Oh my gosh, that's so
And
cool.
yeah. But after I did it in March, I pulled my hip flexor. So I had to change my routine. So now I swim 4 days a week. I do water aerobics and water Zumba. And then I strength train for 3 or 4 days a week.
Mm.
Honestly, I don't really like to exercise, but I do really like to eat cookies. So I exercise a lot.
Well, and it sounds like, I mean, you were able to take something that you really enjoyed and made adjustments when you needed to, and
Yeah.
you have the added bonus of the companionship or partnership with your husband, which is really not, I think that's really nice. Um,
Yeah.
for me, I'm a little more low key. Um, I have started I used to be a big walker and everything when I was back in the States, but it hasn't really worked out for me over here. But what I have tapped into is doing Kundalini yoga and somatic movements. In
Mm.
addition to, I don't walk as regularly as I used to, but I found that I can make that inner self connection with the Kundalini, and then the somatic movements are just, like the stretching and just keeping myself.
Yep.
I want to focus on flexibility and
Mm-hmm.
strength. So, um,
Yep.
yeah, so it's great that, exercise comes in every shape and form, you know, land and air
Yeah,
and
whatever you can
water.
do.
So, okay. So now we have the next phase. Is this the last one?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
luteal phase, that's the phase
Okay.
that prepares your body for pregnancy and for shedding the uterine lining. So it starts after ovulation and it ends before the first day of your period. So, and this stage lasts between 12 and 16 days. The second half of your phase is when you might experience PMS symptoms like irritability, fatigue, cravings. This is where I will allow a salt lick on top of a cookie.
Okay.
I
as
will allow
as
it. Go
long
for it.
as you focus on balance, then you do you. Um, this is the time of your cycle to engage in. This is, I think, the most important place where you're going to need stress management and your self-care techniques. So you're going to want to remember practicing self-compassion, and you
Mhm.
want to remember that your body has unique needs in this phase. And as always, we should be prioritizing being kind to ourselves, which in my mind includes delicious snacks.
Absolutely. I'm all for a delicious snack. Cookies are always very enjoyable. I think I'm going to go to the store and get some cookies because I'm making myself hungry.
Confession, I actually just bought pre-made cookie dough for my daughter to bake me cookies today.
Oh,
So, cookies is the name of the game on this lovely rainy day.
oh yeah, it's raining here too today.
Yeah.
And we should tell everybody I'm in New York. And where are you, Stacy?
I am in a town called Neuhausen am Rheinfall in Switzerland.
Back to this.
Yes.
Um, so during the luteal phase, you want to opt for complex carbohydrates. Stick with lean proteins, foods rich in B vitamins. They can help you maintain stable blood sugar levels and maintain and manage your mood swings. When it comes to exercise, keep up the yoga and stretching,
Mhm.
which will ease cramps and relieve tension.
But
Although,
I want to go back to something that you said at the start of this whole thing, which is that basically, I mean, we just talked about this whole cycle, and you said at the beginning that this happens 450 times in someone's lifetime.
yep, yeah, sounds like a lot, right? Well,
Yes.
yeah. Well, after that, it's still not over because after that, after 30 years of menstrual cycles, we continue down Mr. Toad's crazy ride right into perimenopause. Perimenopause takes your predictable cycle, throws it into a blender, and what you are left with is the reason you and I have a podcast. Perimenopause is puberty's older, crankier, fatter, sweatier, itchier, brain foggier. I don't know if that's even a word for older sister who is now running down a hill with her body literally on fire. And surprise, surprise, she is very, very angry.
Michelle, you
I
have
keep
a hell of a way of painting a picture like
broad strokes.
like no other. And I'm a very visual person, so I can see it all in my mind's eye right now.
Like,
With that visual in mind, keep in mind that in the midst of this perimenopause wild ride, there is a profound personal transformation taking place. I mean, yes, all this physical changes are happening, but there is an inner evolution that we also go through.
mm-hmm.
And it's a phase where it brings a surge of self-discovery. We talked about how you're feeling empowered, and it's an opportunity to embrace your true self. I mean, it's it's a time when all of us have to find our strength because we have to let go of what's not serving us anymore. I mean, we're stepping into this new chapter, and we have to have confidence and a sense of like flexibility or resilience, because
Mm-hmm.
life is changing. Like, even though we're changing on the inside in lots of different ways, what's happening around us is also changing. So there's just so much happening. And I guess, it is a whirlwind, um,
Yeah.
perimenopause. And so, yeah, there is this period of complete transformation.
Menopause day. Menopause day. Menopause day. Everybody's
Wait a
so excited.
minute. What do
What?
you mean menopause day?
So menopause is only one day, one day, like Christmas, Hanukkah, well, no, not Hanukkah. Hanukkah's 8 days. Bad example. Christmas, one day, and then it's over. I mean, I know we prepare for it all year long. Oh, so actually it's kind of the same. So menopause is one day. After menopause day becomes postmenopause. So 12 months, no period. You made it to menopause day. Congratulations. You win nothing. Nothing. The heavens don't open. The menopause angels don't sing. The one positive is you can relax now, knowing that you're not going to get another period. However, your symptoms, if you are feeling symptoms, are not going anywhere. During postmenopause, yes, your body, your hormones, your symptoms, they will start to stabilize, and your symptoms should start to subside. Always speak to your doctor if your symptoms are bothersome, but you're not going to go from perimenopause, menopause day, and then feel better. And you're not going to go all the way back to normal. You're normal. You are now in a new normal with your hormones being lower.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, because I don't think that I don't want to be general. I didn't know that menopause is considered to be just one day. I thought
Yeah,
it
that's
was,
a conception.
that next, like, that's what you are now.
Right.
And
Yeah, because
so, yeah,
menopause is a general term.
right.
So you in reality, you are menopausing. You are
Mhm,
not in menopause. You are menopausing. And then once you
right.
get past that, you're postmenopausal.
Yeah. And that, yeah. And it's so great to have these conversations with you, because, I don't know everything, and I don't know that anybody does, but when you have someone who has
Yeah.
studied this, like you have, these conversations come out, and it helps us to, well, at least you're helping me prepare to be that post menopausal woman.
Yeah.
Um, because I didn't realize that I had to prepare, like now I feel like I need to um look forward physically, which again is not anything that anyone's ever really talked about.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
also helping me. I think if we can have confidence in knowing what to expect physically,
Mm-hmm.
then we have a little bit more strength and wisdom mentally, and maybe that helps us emotionally.
Yeah. It all
Um,
helps.
because really, again, like everything is being changed, and especially with the outside change and who we are, our sense of self and purpose, all of that stuff is getting reevaluated at this time, while we're going through all these physical changes. Like talk about, when it rains, it pours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. And this is really the time when we're looking at our core beliefs and our behaviors, and we're
Yep.
identifying the things that matter to us. We're reorganizing our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think I might have started that process a little bit earlier than my physical changes, but I started trying to put my life together so that it was in line with my personal core values.
Yeah,
So
that's
even
very
that brought up, different changes and things.
mm-hmm.
So really, this is, the fact that any one individual, female, can get through all of this and still be sane is truly miraculous.
All right then. So that's it. I think that's it. We had a good conversation today.
Yeah.
That's it, lady. Hopefully, ladies, right? I hope it's not just lady. I hope someone out there is watching besides my mother. Hi, mom. As we transition between periods to no periods, we need to focus on maintaining a healthy lifestyle and staying active, both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Nutrition is vital. It includes plenty of fiber, antioxidants to your diet, and support of overall health. Cookies do not count as fiber. When it comes to exercise, focus on activities that help maintain muscle mass and bone density. Strength training and balance exercises are very beneficial during this stage.
Yep.
Stay hydrated and get as much sleep as possible. In the upcoming episodes, we'll dive deeper into peri and postmenopause as a whole person, holistic complementary approach. Today, we broke down the steps along the hormonal highway. That's a term created by Fiona Catchpowle, the founder of the Menopause School, which is where I learned all this fun stuff. And if anybody out there would like to work with Stacy or myself and receive a personal approach, please reach out. We're here to help. No one needs to suffer in silence. It's our turn to take up space and make some noise.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. If anybody wants to get a hold of us, you can find all of our contact information at the end of every one of our videos. We have it listed. We'll have it listed on all of our socials. And also don't forget, if you're here watching us and being entertained and educated, please subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to connect with us on those social media outlets. Michelle and I will be back with more insights and tips in our next episode.
Yay! Until next time, keep shining, ladies. This is Lady Lane. We're here to empower, uplift, and inspire you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Hello. No.
Oh my God. Makeup.
Oh, this will be good for the blooper reel.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like, I just keep putting the laugh like every other one. You just keep going and going. This is the best part of every show is the blooper reel. You should put the blooper reel on after each episode.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, if someone sticks around long enough, they'll get to see all this.
Well, we should say it at the end. Put that in at the end. And if you really want to continue, we have a special treat after the things are all right. Okay. Stop.